and this is a cabbage market. This is where every day farmers markets take place, and you can really buy nice fresh produce. Then again, different view on one of the churches. This is St. Michael's Church, and this is the Castle Spielberg again, and an aerial view. And not to just make it look very ancient, we have a lot of new architecture, and maybe if anyone is interested in the modern UNESCO sites, we have the Villa Tugendhat right next to our university. So this is the aerial shot of the MotoGP, which unfortunately is not taking place this year. And these are typically, the crowds that you can experience if you go to a Christmas market in Brno, and what you can buy local produce. So that was just briefly about Brno, and now a little bit about our university. So we celebrated our 100th anniversary 2 years ago. So it's relatively, middle-aged compared to, it's not really an old university, but it's also not the newest one. It started as a University of Agriculture and Forestry, but there are schools that are more general. So we have 5 faculties. We have Faculty of Agronomy, Forestry, and Wood Technologies. The faculty that I come from is the Faculty of Business and Economics. Then we have University of Horticulture, and that's where students study for the winemaking and also garden architecture. And then we also have a Faculty of Regional Development and International Studies. Besides that, we have also Institute for Lifelong Learning. And on average, we have about 10,000 students. And of course, we have the ECT as a label, which means that you can transfer your credits if you come study at our school. So this is the building where the classes at our faculty take place. Pedro was also lecturing here a couple of years ago. And what is interesting is that we have also some quite nice laboratories because we have also IT programs. So we have a laboratory of virtual reality. My students and students of my colleagues can use eye tracking laboratory. We have also EEG, so we can explore and investigate, how the brain operates when you are, let's say, making shopping decisions and, looking at advertisements or watching a website and so on. So just to give you an idea, whose name has given the name of our university. It's named after Gregor Johann Mendel. So I wonder if anyone ever heard about him and maybe knows what is he known for. Studying and working, but I will share the presentation with you so you can have a look at it later on. But just for interest, if you ever wore contact lenses, so the material for contact lenses was developed or discovered, or the guy who invented it was Professor Otto Wichterle, and he actually created this mixture at home, and he made his laboratory from toys. Yeah, it was like a toy parts for construction, and he could, because at that time he could not really use the laboratory, what is meant. Then they like planning. Yeah, they have milestones for different tasks, and they check you know, like every milestone, and then they progress like that. Then they show respect for privacy, so they will not ask questions about the partner's life. Like they will not ask about family. They will never ask about your, let's say, salary. It's your private thing. They will not ask you whether let's say, I don't know, you like this or that. It's if it's not a business thing, I should not care. Yeah. And they come on time, and they don't really develop long-term business relationships on personal level. They simply, you know, like consider it just a purpose-driven business thing, but they don't build partner or friendships outside the job, you know, like with their colleagues or their business partners. So polychronic cultures, those are maybe like Italians, Greeks, maybe some Arabic countries. Yes. So they do many things at the same time. Yeah. They a little while work on this, then they move to on something else, and then they return back and do things at the same time. Then if they consider something interesting and important, they stop their work and then they go, let's say, take care of, let's say, cooking or something. They don't care so much about the time frame, but the objective. So let's say if a certain product needs a longer time to be produced well, then they will take longer time, but to do it well. Then they care for people. Yeah, many times the company is kind of like a group of friends. They really know each other. They go to each other's parties. They know each other's families, and they celebrate many things together and things like that. Even when they decide about a business partner, they first want to learn more about the person before they trust that person. Yeah, and then yeah, if they have a business partner, sometimes it becomes even a personal friendship. Yes. So what do you think? What is more common for Portuguese culture? Monochronic, more things from monochronic, or more things from polychronic? What do you think?
Polychronic for sure.
Yes, polychronic is closer to Portuguese culture, while for Czech Republic, we have more things in common with monochronic. Yes, it's not like perfectly, you know, like just only this and just only that. There's always some kind of compromises in each culture, but we have more characteristics connected with the monochronic, and then Portugal has more polychronic. What is important? Why do you think it's important to understand these differences? Why do you think you should understand that there are these different kinds of cultures?
Because
what do you think?
So we can respect one another. We are not expecting to go in another country and it will be the same as ours. We can't think that.
Yes, exactly.
Not all people want to go to your house to have dinner. Not all people want to go to the cafe. Not all people want to be your friends.
Yes, exactly, you know, but it doesn't mean that it cannot, you know, you cannot meet a person, you know, in Czech Republic who would invite you to your home and would want to be your friends. Yes, this is more like me. Yeah, I like to do that. But it's not like every person like that. And sometimes, you know, for example, Czechs, they first are kind of distant, but once you get to know them, you become really lifelong friends. Yes, it just takes time to warm up for them, but then they're really good friends. So, and just like you said, if you know certain country typically acts in a certain way, you are not maybe so surprised when you're doing business together. Yes, you just maybe need to know that you have to make some compromises. Yes, and maybe like if you know that maybe certain culture tends to extend the deadlines, then you probably need to set earlier deadline. So when the deadline is late, it's still okay for you. Yes, so then things like that.
Jana.
Okay, very good.
Jana.
So yes, time is up.
Sorry, can I ask them if they need to go, because it's time for them? I don't know if they.
Okay, yes, I'm almost at the end, so I will go just really quickly. So then learning language is very important too, because when you learn a language, you learn also a little bit about the culture, and you also learn to understand the people, and you create better partnerships and friendships. So even a few words are always good. And how you address people, whether you can call them by their first name or you have to use, let's say, titles. Yeah, so like professor, or if you have to call them doctor, or you can call them, let's say, Jana. Yeah, so it's different in different cultures. And then languages don't translate word by word. You know, sometimes there are some things that you call idioms, and if you put them in a Google Translate, sometimes it really translates something that doesn't make sense. Yes, because it just makes sense in the language. And then body language is different in different countries. You have to understand also some gestures have different meanings. Then some cultures show emotions, some it's not okay to show emotions. Like, for example, in China, it's and some Asian countries, it's not okay to say no directly. Yeah, you just say, okay, we will try, but it means no. Yes, so and of course, sometimes it's better to hire a interpreter and so on. And also different color preferences. And actually, you know, there are some studies that tell you, you know, like what to study about the cultures in order to understand the other country.